Thompson Productions.
No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. It's a rainy June 4th where I'm at. I'm pleasure to be with you guys today. Have some stuff to go through. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday. I did have an eventful day. Had a big old AC unit installed. Ended up, so that was fun. And then a few other little odds and ends that I had to do. So I wasn't able to get one in yesterday. We didn't Already Dead though, so that was fun. Highly recommend that. I feel like the call-ins these past couple weeks in the Already Dead show have been really kind of coming together and feel like are becoming what I wanted them to be. Like just kind of a smorgasbord of you never know who's going to show up there. Just normal people, the fans can pop in. Other content creators, stuff like that. So I think it's starting to kind of come together, and I'm digging that. So maybe we've cracked into something. But I wasn't able to do the morning show yesterday. But I'm here today. I don't see any reason why I won't be able to do it through Friday, so I'll be here, covering the weather, or not the weather. I guess I am sort of covering the weather, but covering the news, and maybe some olds occasionally, as I'm apt to do. But we'll go through the foreign policy stuff here in a second. I do want to take a moment to let you guys know that we have no bills to pay today. I have no sponsor this month. And next month, Nadeau, I guess, is taking a little bit of a break. So with that, no hard feelings, obviously. Hey, taking a break. He's supposedly coming back in a couple months, but it's a snooze you lose type deal. I do like Nadeau, and I really do dig that product. But for anybody else out there, I'm just letting you guys know that kind of there's an ad spot open essentially for the next couple months until he comes back or someone fills that slot. So just letting you guys know that's out there. That's an option. It's not if someone's got a cool product, obviously it's gonna be a product I dig. Hit me up. You can. The email is in the video description. Also, you can hit me up on social media as Jose Galison or on Twitter at TowerGangJose. So hit me up there if you got any cool products you would like me to hawk for you. Obviously, like I said, I gotta have a sample. Gotta check it out. Gotta be something I dig. And I'm all about sharing that around. Hell yeah, I like getting sponsors. New sponsors are cool because you get new shit. You're like, hell yeah, what am I getting? I don't know. I got shaving stuff last time, which I really genuinely dig, and I still have the same shaving set. I haven't since I started with Nadeau way back in the day, so it's dope. But just throwing it out there, enough money grubbing. I did just get a new giant AC unit in and have a ton of work I'm doing around the house, so I definitely could use the money. So if anyone does want to chip in the buck, feel free to, but if you guys step up and there's a ton of patrons, and if you guys really don't like the ad reads, then hell yeah, we'll go back to against that. But so Eddie says when he gets his gun store up and going, I'll hit you up about advertising if you're cool with that. I'm cool with that. I've heard there's some weird rules about YouTube in that, but I don't know. I'm willing to rock the boat. I don't give a shit. I can also just, I don't know. I've heard with ammo and stuff, people have to do like audio only for that or some nonsense. So, but whatever, I'd be open to trying. But that's enough. That's enough money grubbing. If you guys want to support, you guys know how. Or at the very least, even if you don't know how with money, then I don't know, share this around. Just simple. Everyone knows the shtick. You can help out. Make this show grow. And maybe in the future I'll start more money grubbing, but I don't know. I don't like it, so we're not going that route. Good morning, everybody in the chat. By the way, I see Tita Sepiente. It's a fun name. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Marnie Mac. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Eddie. I know we're not supposed to do the individual call outs, but you know what? I'm apt to do that at time to time just to say hi to you guys. I do appreciate the hangouts with you fellers. So let's get into some foreign policy stuff, though. Let's jump right into it. I thought this was particularly interesting. We have South Korea has a new president. I think I forget what there was some political stuff issues with the last one. I forget there was something big. I forget what the specifics of that one was. It was I think he tried to do some sort of swear he tried to do some sort of authoritarian takeover or something weird, and it like backfired. I forget the specifics of that, but essentially they've elected a new one, and I guess they're looking to have more friendly ties to the North, which obviously will necessitate Trump coming in and playing a part in any sort of niceties. So I just I just think it's cool that we might get a call back to times of old. We may go back to the fun times. These are the fun Trump times, back when we were dealing with big rocket, little rocket man, and all that. Those were the fun times. That was fun Trump. So maybe we can go back to that chapter. We'll see. But yeah, we have South Korea's new president says he will seek talks with the North. It's from Dave DeCamp. South Korea elected a new president. After months of turmoil by former Yoon Suk Yeol's declaration of martial law in December 2024, which led to his impeachment. Okay, that's what it was. He declared martial law. That's what it was. South Koreans went to the polls on Tuesday and elected Lee Jae-myung of the Democratic Party, who officially started his term early Wednesday morning. Let me see. What did he say? In a victory speech to his supporters, he vowed to seek talks with North Korea, a break from the predecessor's approach that provides President Trump with the opportunity to revisit the diplomacy with Pyongyang that he pursued during his first term. There's that guy doing the cool thumbs up. He looks really goofy. He looks like, I don't know, like some retarded kid that you asked if he's having a good time at the park. He goes, I will work to build a peaceful and stable Korean peninsula where coexistence is possible while firmly exercising deterrence against the North through strong national defense. I believe it's better to win without fighting than to win through fighting, and better still to create a peace where fighting isn't necessary at all. With this conviction, I will pursue dialogue, communication, and coexistence with the North, working together to find a path toward mutual cooperation and shared prosperity. So obviously, I think this is looking up in that realm. So that's cool. I also think it'll be fun, like I said, to go back to OG Trump with the North Korean interactions. So, but hey, I don't know, maybe positive developments. I don't know what could come of it. But hey, this is a move in the right direction on that front. I know I did hear a little chatter when Dave covered this morning, Dave DeCamp, that kind of like with any sort of possible talks that likely the move would be to dial down military aggression, or maybe aggression's the wrong word, but a military posturing in the region, because that is a thing in that area. There's all sorts of planes and carriers and all sorts of different areas staged near North Korea, that North Korea being one of the excuses. So that would be something they could kind of leverage in any sort of negotiations. But I think the issue that we're going to run into here, possibly, if we do have negotiations in the future, is that it seems like we're strongly signaling a increase in increasing the tensions with China in as time goes forward, and all the same military actions that would be used for essentially for North Korea as some sort of staging to prepare for any sort of involvement with them is the same thing that you're going to see with China, generally speaking, with probably some minor differences. But they're basically right next to each other, so it makes sense it would be basically about the same. So Point being is the issue might run into if they do try to have some sort of negotiations of like, oh, if you do this, then we'll do that. Like maybe, who knows? Maybe we could get some sort of Iran type deals with North Korea that maybe allows them to kind of maybe interact with the world more, to where whatever they got going on nuclear, we can maybe come to some sort of agreement. I mean, I think we have a long road because unfortunately we've lived through a time where we've had situations like Gaddafi. I can't really spout the specifics of that situation, but I know essentially he gave up his nukes, his nuclear material. He was in a similar situation that Iran is in now, and he caved. And he said, no, you can have my nukes, my nuclear enrichment, or whatever the fuck the current stage of the nuclear stuff was. Essentially removed any sort of pretense of having nukes, and he died shortly later. So are we going to be able to pull North Korea away from that ledge? I don't know. I think they might just hang out near the ledge and go, fuck you, we're going to take us and every one of our citizens in the world with us if you don't leave us the fuck alone. But at the very least, maybe we can get some sort of deal, some sort of interactions with them, and I think it would only be good for the North Korean people. I know a lot of people have this comic book idea in their mind that the way we solve problems is by we go in there and we shoot them up and we save the day. But I think with something like North Korea, actually, diplomacy and opening up normalized relations is actually probably the best thing that could happen for the people in that country, really. So, all right, enough of rant. Let's roll through the chat a little bit, see what you guys have to say. See some more of y'all showing up. Wise Elk up in here. I see he leaves lots of comments on Rumble. You guys should follow his suit. I like to see his little love notes. 713 Bob. One Tuesday he came into power. Wednesday they move fast. See those Asians, they're industrious people. CPJR up in here. Jared Hall, the regular. What is up, people? Scrolling through. Let me see. Maybe the Jays in the U.S. can U.S. policy starved millions of North Koreans. That's probably a realm I do need to dig into more. I never really got enough into the specifics on what happened with North Korea and South Korea, so I can't speak on that at all. So I don't know what role they played, but would I be shocked? No, not at all. Tower Gang NPC up in here. What is up, PJR? It's going to happen. Psychotic Israel has a hard-on for Iran. It's in their forced prophecies. Obviously, I was referring to the Iran stuff a minute ago. Yeah, I don't know. I'm of two minds when it comes to the Iran stuff. It is yes, I get it that is in the prophecies, and it seems to be that's where everything's going. I do think we're going to evade it this time. I do think, but I don't know. We're playing a dangerous game with a lot going on. There was one story that I thought about covering for Iran. We'll probably cover that tomorrow. I don't have any Iran story, but they're still kind of just doing this gay back and forth with negotiations. So I didn't really feel like there was any point in kind of going too into the minutia of the details. But yeah, they're in this weird back and forth of still in this weird realm where everyone's acting like everything's hunky-dory and going super duper great, but then they're saying, Iran's saying, hey, here's our red line being enrichment, like you can't take that away from us, and then we go, that's our red line, so, and nothing seems to change, so I don't know, we'll see. I did see something in one there that seemed to be, there was some sort of almost like a weird caveat that something to do with like enrichment in a specific location. So I don't know, maybe they're going to Jew this and go, oh, well, they're not able to make nuclear material I think it was like not in Iran, like they could make it in other countries. I don't fucking know. I have no idea how this is going to work out. It does seem weird with the Iran thing, that how hopeful everyone seems, yet over and over again, it just seems the negotiations, same terms. So, and they're both being like, nope, we're at an impasse here. But the point being, it sounds like they're at an impasse while continually saying we're not at an impasse. Things are going great. So I don't know. Scrolling through, yeah, but I don't know with Iran. I don't know with Iran if that's gonna. I do feel like we're going to avoid it this time, but I do think they want to get it at some point. But it does feel like if Israel doesn't nab that goal of getting some worldwide war with Iran right now, I don't know. I don't know if they could pull it off again. I really feel like they're about to lose so much influence that it would just be impossible. So I guess just fingers crossed. I think that I really feel like if somehow we avoid it this go round, like within the next year or two, I think maybe we just not we, but like maybe, just maybe, like a multi-thousand year prophecy got averted to some degree, or at least delayed to some, obviously by prophecy, it's self-fulfilling. They make it happen. So, all right, scrolling through chat. Yeah, U.S. troops are not going to invade Iran. Yeah, I agree with that. We're not, they're definitely not going to invade, I don't think. But I wouldn't be surprised if Israel tries to start some sort of larger thing. I just don't know how this is going to work out. I don't see the Iran thing happening right now. It could. Obviously, it's always there. I'm not feeling it. But maybe I'm wrong. I guess maybe I'm being hopeful. Maybe I'm optimistic. I feel like if anything, usually I'm kind of overly realistic, a little bit maybe of a doomer. So I don't know, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, we've got what do we got here? We got Israeli military admits to shooting Palestinians near Gaza aid site, 27 reported killed. So I believe this is yet again another one. Like, I'm literally losing track of these. So this was yesterday. So Gaza's health ministry said Tuesday at least 27 people were killed when Israeli forces opened fire on Palestinians attempting to collect aid near a distribution site in southern Gaza. So this is 27 this time, and they're admitting to it this time, which we'll get to. Israeli military admitted it opened fire at Palestinians near the distribution sites, claiming it targeted suspects who were approaching IDF troops. The statement did not allege that they were armed. They later reported the IDF acknowledged it fired at civilians. So the officials' narrative, keep in mind last time, the previous one, I believe this wasn't yesterday when I covered it the day before, the previous one, the official narrative was, there was no official narrative. They go, I don't know what you're talking. It was a no. I don't know what you're talking about. What shooting kind of deal? Like they said, I don't know. That sounds like Hamas reporting to me, basically. It's kind of, but no, this time now the narrative from them is that it opened fire at Palestinians near distribution sites and that it targeted suspects who approached the IDF troops. So suspects that approached, saying nothing about them being armed. Suspects, I mean, you couldn't make this, you'd struggle to make this any more vague. It says earlier today, during the movement of the crowd along the designated routes toward the aid distribution site, approximately half a kilometer from the site, IDF troops identified several suspects moving toward them, deviating from the designated routes, the IDF said in a statement. The troops carried out warning fire, and after the suspects failed to retreat, additional shots were directed near individual suspects who advanced toward the troops. So now their statement is saying that they shot out warning fires, and then when they didn't retreat, they shot more, and they shot at individual suspects. So, all right. IDF said that it was aware of reports regarding casualties, and the details of the incident are being looked into. So Naeem Al-Araj, a woman from Khan Yunis who witnessed the shooting, said there were many martyrs and wounded and that Israeli forces were firing indiscriminately. She said that she reached the distribution site but didn't receive any aid. There was no aid there. After the martyrs and wounded, I won't return. Either way, we will die. So obviously the implication being she's like, I'm not doing this again. I'm going to get shot at. Doctors and medical workers who treated the victims reported that most of them were shot in the head or chest. So remember, they said, supposedly these were warning shots. So, I mean, I guess they did then say individual suspects after that. So, according to the health industry, the latest massacre brings the total number of Palestinians killed near aid distribution sites since the U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation began operating in Gaza to 102. So we were up to 102 deaths. Like they fucking expired. Like, we're not talking wounded. Like, I don't know if it even says wounded here. The wounded was probably a fuckload. But no, we're talking 102 dead. This is what, in like a week? What has it been, like maybe a week that they've been doing this aid? And I can't even, literally every day I come back from this morning show, I go, hey, they've shot up. There was another aid shooting at an aid center. I mean, we called it. We said it was going to happen. I'm not happy. I wish this wasn't happening. I wish this would stop. I was kind of, as fucked up as it sounds, I was kind of hoping that it actually was just a no. As I ranted, I think just the last time we mentioned this, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. I kind of was, and as weird as this is to say this is a hopeful option, because what they were saying, the cabinet members, many of them, Smotrich and the like, were saying is, oh no, we're going to herd them into the south, and we're going to put them in camps, and we're going to provide them with aid and all that. That was kind of what I was like. Obviously, that's not like best case scenario, but that was kind of what I was hoping the situation was going to be. And that's still bad. That's literal concentration camps. But there was this like, well, I did say that like, what happens after that? Do they then start hurt? Like, is it then with the tight conditions and maybe bad hygiene and lack of food there? Do there start being riots and then start being shootings at these concentration camps? Like, that was kind of where my head was at. But that's still better than what we're at now, because they skipped a whole step. They're literally just at shooting these people in these groups. They didn't even get to the camps portion. So this is worse than I thought it would be. They couldn't even wait to get them in camps to terrorize them further. I mean, it's kind of astounding to watch, and I don't know. I feel like I'm one of the people who couldn't be much more clear-eyed on Israel, and still even me, I'm just like, this is astounding. It's kind of intense to watch, and I don't know. I can't. Just wild. There's people out there that still run cover for this shit. So, and there are cowards out there that won't stand for it, or that won't stand and say shit at all. So I don't know. Let's roll through the chat, see what you guys have to say. And then we'll move on to the next one. You guys talking shit about Lindsey Graham in the chat. Nevsky said, I forgot to send you some uplifting content. Yeah, send me some uplifting content. Maybe we can start that'll be the send-off of the show. We just, something cute. Kind of like that Miss Rachel video, but if it wasn't sad. You remember that Miss Rachel video with a little girl from Gaza? Like that feeling, that like a wholesomeness, that like one of those maybe like cute baby videos or puppy videos at the end of the show would probably be good. I think that would be a good way to kind of cleanse the palate after the satanic ritual abuse that I talk about, the false flags, like all sorts of craziness that happens on this show. I don't know. That would probably be a good way to end it. I think so. I think you might be right. See a bunch of HHs in here. HH, everybody. Maybe that should be my, how Raven does the good mornings as he rolls to the chat in the mornings. I should do the HHs. HH, everybody. HH. All right, let's scroll into the next, or do HHFP. HHFP, there you go. FPHH. Which do I like better? I like juxtaposing them together. Something about Free Palestine, Heil Hitler. Just is I think it's the whole combination, really. It's the whole package when you throw them together. All right, let's get into the next story. What do we got next? I thought this was particularly interesting, and maybe a little bit of a behind the scenes that you guys would get some value out of. Here is from the Middle East Eye. Obviously, I sourced this from Anti-War because they're helpful with that. But this is exclusive. U.S. warns U.K. and France not to recognize Palestinian state. This is from Imran Mullah. I just thought this particularly interesting because you get to see the behind the scenes of how these nations interact with each other. And I think, given the timing of this, because there's been these talks that I've mentioned to you guys multiple times, like what's going on with the Trump administration in Israel? Are these administrations at odds? I think this is another one of those things that gives you a little bit more of a peek into behind the scenes. And I actually think this kind of flies in the face, like the opposite of any sort of, maybe there being a rift, but not necessarily. So, I mean, even this does seem like I don't know. We'll talk about a little bit more after we kind of get into what actually this is. But let's read this real quick. It says, the U.S. has warned Britain and France against recognizing a Palestinian state at a UN conference later this month. Middle East Eye can reveal. At a UN conference later this month. The wording there doesn't make any sense to me. How do you warn somebody at a UN conference? Oh, no. They warn them against recognizing them at a UN. Okay, so the UN conference is later this month. They warn them against recognizing them at that conference. Okay, got it. All right, that confused me. The France and Saudi Arabia are set to co-host a major UN conference on the two-state solution beginning on 17 June in New York. France is reportedly gearing up to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state at the conference. MEE understands that France has been lobbying Britain to do so as well. French officials believe the British government is on board with the plan, according to French media. But Washington privately begun to warn Britain and France against unilaterally recognizing Palestine, Sources with knowledge of the matter in the British Foreign Office told Middle Eastern Eye. At the same time, Arab states are urging them to proceed with the move, sources said. In late May, UN members states held consultations in preparation for the conference, during which the Arab group urged states to recognize Palestinian statehood. The Arab group said they would measure the success of the conference by whether significant states recognize Palestine. Foreign offices sources add. It says no grounds for U.S. interference. Approach for comment. The Foreign Office appointed MEE to Foreign Secretary David Lammy's statement on 20 May, in which he reaffirmed UK support for a two-state solution. Lammy is what I meant to say, has publicly opposed unilateral recognition, insisting earlier this year that the UK would only recognize a Palestinian state when we know it's going to happen and it's in sight. But in late April, Lammy acknowledged for the first time that Britain was in discussion with France and Saudi Arabia on the topic. For a Franco-British recognition would be to acknowledge the Palestinian right to nationhood and be equal partners in any future negotiations with Israel. Doyle added, based on precedent with this British government, U.S. objection to recognition will be more likely to have an impact on Britain than on France. But the American president is unpredictable. What really counts is what President Trump himself thinks, Doyle said. Opposing unilateral recognition is an existing American position, but if I was in Downing Street, I would be asking, what does the president himself believe, and how will he react? If France and Britain go ahead with the move, they will become the first G7 nations to recognize a Palestinian state. Alon Pincus, who advised 4 Israeli foreign ministers, told MEE on Monday that French President Emmanuel Macron's push to recognize Palestinian statehood is serious and has the backing of most of the European Union and Saudi Arabia. That's okay. The move would cause a political earthquake since both France and Britain are among Israel's most important historic allies. Now, I do want to take a moment to... This reminds me of many junctions in Israel's history where there was major political movements and there were times where it looked like maybe, just maybe, they weren't going to pull it out, but then they kind of... You see these weird tricks that are found. I forget if it was the 47 or 48 or 67, and there were multiple border ones where there were weird political movements where it seemed like, oh, we're going to have this, it's not going to happen. It almost looked like failing for Israel's interests. And then you find out about these murmurs about blackmail campaigns or threats or whatever, and leverage being applied, and all of a sudden things come together. So I'm a little bit concerned about this one when I hear these things, and I think we might be seeing, it seems like we're kind of seeing the shadows of the murmurs I was referring to, the behind the scenes, the possible leverage or blackmail or kind of bullying of hey, don't do this. I don't know, but I think maybe we're in a different time, and I'm kind of hopeful. I think maybe there's a strong possibility that, we do have some sort of, like they said, this UN summit or whatever it is here soon, and there might be a huge shakeup. So it's a possibility, and it's not that crazy. Although, I would temper those expectations, as I was kind of getting at, and that we have seen similar such things in history, especially in relation to Israel. And by God, when it comes to that political apparatus, they are the finessers of it, typically. You would think they wouldn't be, because you see how they operate, and just being just so flagrant and just being little shitheads, basically. And you just think it just seems like bad politics. In a sense, it is. It's like high time preference politics. But when it really, really counts, I guess it's just a matter of, they're just willing to go there, I think is what it comes down to. Anything... I guess I don't put any fucked up action beyond any government or government actors particularly, but it just seems like, from my impression, just Israel and their government in general, even just down to just the normal government, not even up to the shady espionage stuff. They're just willing to go there. They're willing to do the fucked up things. So I think sometimes in the political world, which what is politics other than aggression kind of hiding behind other terms. It's I don't know. The ones that are willing to kind of go to the mat and do the most fucked up shit you could possibly imagine, they tend to be sometimes the ones who master this domain. But hopefully, people can maybe have a little bit more of a. Hopefully, some people can grow some fucking balls, and maybe, just maybe, for once, the world can stand up to these fucks. So. All right, let's keep going. Israel has signaled it would not take the move lying down. Last week, Ron Dermer, Israel's strategic affairs minister, threatened Britain and France that Israel may annex parts of the West Bank if they recognize a Palestinian state, according to Israeli newspaper Haaretz, which they're already doing anyways. So it's like it's kind of funny. I go back and forth between whether these are smart political actors or not, because they made this threat earlier and then they just basically fucking did it. I mean, as I've kind of we had a little bit of a speech. There is like this. What even do you mean when you say annex? Because there's differing levels. Because like even with the recent settlements, technically it's not the government doing it, but the government's sanctioning it. There's like different levels. There's like, but and at every level, still the government doesn't do anything, so it still happens. Like when it comes to the settlers movement. So, I mean, I think when people typically think of a full-on annex, they think like literally the government themselves doing it. So I think that's why. Them threatening an annex when it's like you already have settlers that are, abusing the locals and trying to take over the land and doing flagrant acts right now, and then just shortly after then you announce that hey we're sanctioning these settlements essentially. When I say sanction, I don't mean that like preventing. You know what I mean? We're allowing these. We're saying we're giving the thumbs up for this. But they're not doing it themselves. So, I mean, it does seem like a weird. What kind of weird political game is this? Like, oh no, you will officially annex them. Oh no. So yeah, as I said, I still go back and forth. I don't know if these are smart political actors, but MEE revealed earlier this month that Britain privately decided in 2014 it would consider recognize a Palestinian state if Israel advanced with the contentious EI settlement project. Israel is currently poised to move forward with a settlement plan which would effectively split the occupied West Bank in two. Meanwhile, domestic pressure is ramping up in Britain. Starmer is facing significant levels of anger throughout the entirety of the Labour Party and the British public, though said even in circles that would ordinarily support the Israeli government. Several MPs told MEE last month they believe UK must recognize a Palestinian state immediately. Labour MP Uma Kumaran, a member of British Foreign Affairs Select Committee, said the government was elected on a manifesto that promised to recognize Palestine as a step toward a just and lasting peace. I strongly support the recognition of a Palestinian state, and I have raised this repeatedly in Parliament on the Foreign Affairs Committee with ministers. So, I don't know. Hopeful. We'll see where this goes. Let's roll through you guys' chat, see what you guys have to say. Someone says HJ. No, we're not doing HJ. Hail Jose. Is that going to be? Is that a thing we're trying now? I don't know. Let's scroll through. HJ also hand job doesn't mean nice old fashioned. It says hustle bones. Scrolling through, seeing what all you guys else have to say. So UK, France, and Germany are turning against Israel in order to put pressure on the Jews. That's what it kind of seems like, although I think they've been kind of signaling this for a little bit while. Scribnevsky saying the unwavering support for Israel is collapsing slowly. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, though. With these things, you see that's just kind of a crack boom. So it's like a slowly and then all at once. So I do think we might see that. We might see a slowly all at once with this situation. So I don't know. Scrolling through. So Juan says if it's true, Israel has backdoored almost everything since promised. They have dirt on everyone important. No chance Palestine's recognized. Hope I'm wrong. Yeah, that's kind of the implication. The what I was getting at earlier with we've seen previous occasions. I think it was like maybe one of the border deals I'm thinking of, or the recognized statehood, or whatever. One of the multiple deals. Where it was similar to such things where they go, oh no, this isn't going to happen. And everyone was like, nope, that thing's not going to happen. That's crazy. That would be insane that it really had to happen. And then, oh, how the fuck did those fuckers pull that off? And you're like, well, they probably threatened to tell everyone about all the crazy fucking, satanic child slinging they're doing or whatever. So let's go into the chat. Israel's Ynet News article talking about how Trump is purging the dual citizens from his cabinet. Jews are freaking out and blaming Netanyahu. Okay, that's interesting. If you find that article, send that to me. I'd like to check that out. Maybe we'll cover that tomorrow. That would be. I don't know. It's interesting. I haven't heard much about purging dual citizens. I haven't heard anything about that. I know. The implication here is because of like kicking out walls or something. But I know that'd be something. Someone says, is Trump also purging his daughter of Kushner, says Hustle Bones. Yeah, Kushner is sketchy, that's for sure. So I don't know what to do with that, what to think of that one. So I don't know. I still, even if we do back off this, I still don't think Trump is a good guy, or that I think under difference. I mean, he's been Israel sycophant pretty much from the jump. So I mean, if we do get some sort of positive development, great, and I'll clap and I'll say good job. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like it comes down to like the political situation. There was kind of, I think, like my point I'm getting at, if we do see positive developments happen here, I don't think it's really going to be so much of a result of our brave and courageous, morally with strong moral backbone politicians coming together and going, okay, we got to stand for this. Never again. We will not watch genocide happen. Like, no, it's going to be. I mean, they may clothe it in that and such, but it's going to be. I mean, it's a political reality is what it's going to be. It's going to be that people like me and you keep playing these, showing these articles and pointing out, showing over and over again the insanity of their, their whatever, like just trying to advocate for whatever this policy is in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. Anyone's been paying attention, like Piers Morgan and his program lately, it's kind of, I think it says it all. You see Piers is completely flipped, and he was one of the people that at the jump, and once again, this comes back to, I'm not saying Piers is a good guy, this comes down to just the reality. It's just that, like, whether this was a self-motivated thing because, the media landscape is changing, but you have people like Piers Morgan who, from the jump, were doing that dumb fucking, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? And now he is one of the most, ardent, I guess not anti-Israel, but, anti-what's going on right now. People that there is out there. He's doing basically truly heroic shit. I mean, you may not say it's heroic because you might say it's self-motivated. I don't know. I'm a little bit jaded. I could be convinced either way, but either way, in effect, it's heroic. And if we do get something from Trump or other politicians, it will be a similar such thing. I think that just kind of they just maybe just kind of got with it, and the political reality became like, hey, you're not going to be able to operate in this world if you don't ante up and do some semblance of something close to the right thing. It's just a matter of, are we going to get to that political reality in the time that would make a difference, or that it would actually be able to happen. I don't know. We'll see. It's just so many uncertainties. But let's go through the chat. But yeah, their spell seemed broken suddenly. Kind of wild to see. Yeah, it is. It's just insane to watch. As I was kind of as I was reading one of the articles, we were just. Which one was it? Was it this one? I don't know. I was reading one of the articles before I was just blown away just the way these guys act. And I'm someone who I've been fairly. I'm not like a Israel expert or anything, but I'm pretty in the know on this shit. I've been in the know for years, fairly well. So I'm by no means someone who has a only cursory understanding of this stuff. No. And it's still you're just whoa. these dudes are just fucking dumb. All right, let's get into the Russian front of things. What's going on over in Russia? Isn't it so great that we have this wonderful Trump that got us out of these wars? Because everyone told us we were going to end up in World War III if it wasn't for Trump, and we were going to stop this whole Russia-Ukraine war, and thank God we've stopped it. And so now they were like, hey, we're going to stop that, and you're still probably just going to have that pesky genocide going on, but at least you won't have that World War III looming in the background. Right, guys? Because it's so much better that we don't have that dumb black bitch, right? Because it would have been so much worse. I'm sure things would look so much different, if we had that stupid black bitch coming from the left who would have had all of that leftist political pressure to actually, I don't know, make her do better things, because let's be real, the left has been better on this issue than we have, but at least not Russia. I'm talking about, I was still my head was still in Gaza. But anyways, obviously I'm being sarcastic. We're still dealing with this shit. And not only that, we're still talking about sanctions, shit that was like going on in the jump. You know, remember when this all started and Russia invaded, and we go, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna sanction the ever living shit out of them, and that's gonna really get them to see the light, and that's going to really work out well for us and the world at large. And how did that work? Did that work out real great? What about had those sanctions? They do a lot. They really get Russia to come to the table and go, hey, yeah, you're right. You know, that wasn't too smart of us. You know, we're seeing things clear-eyed now because you've really just put the screws to us, and us elites, you know, the politicians, we're just suffering so much from these sanctions you've applied to our populace. It's just affecting us so much that we're going to make major policy changes for you. Is that how that worked out? No, of course it didn't. But we're still trying to fucking do that. No, all we did actually was really insulated them more, made them stronger, quickened the demise of the dollar, just all the dumb shit. And it looks like we're going to do it some more. This is from Libertarian Institute, from Kyle Anzalone. Senators push Trump to endorse major sanctions bill. So they're pushing another sanction bill right now. Now listen to this right here. The bill has sweeping bipartisan support in the upper chamber with over 80 co-sponsors. Now this is legislation that would add new sanctions to Russia. Now just think about all the times, I know we don't get too much in the weeds of legislation a lot here, but just think about all the times you mention people like, oh, this legislation, how many sponsors? Usually we're talking 1, 2, 3, in that realm. No, 80. This is like a insane amount of people, and this is to add new sanctions to Russia, to place a 500% tariff on countries that import Russian energy. For example, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm by no means someone who has a strong grip on the fuel market or anything like, but this, I don't know, nor am I an economics expert, but putting a 500% tariff on anyone moving around Russian energy, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a smart idea, especially considering, like, I don't know what that means, because I know Russia and Iran kind of work together a lot with a lot of their fuel stuff. So does that mean, like, are you trying to? I don't know. I guess it just seems stupid to me. This just seems really dumb. This seems like another way to continually kind of insulate them, allow them to be more independent, and ironically kind of reduce the little bit of leverage we have over them and actually drive them to, I don't know. It just seems like it seems stupid. It just seems dumb. It's not going to affect the elites. It's only going to hurt the people. It's also only going to worsen tensions with Russia. So once again, here we are. I know we also have on that front, then we have, I know we read this the other day, covered the drone attacks. So we have here, this is from my buddy Clint. He shared, I'll read the original post here first. So this is from Slavic Free Spirit. It's a group of high-ranking officers of the Ukrainian armed forces and their British colleagues were eliminated by a drone attack on two cars in the center of Sumy. The news was confirmed by Ukrainian channels. According to the spokesman for the Russian military intelligence, these are the military personnel involved in the recent terrorist operations on Russian territory, who are part of the Ukrainian Secret Service GUR, a department headed by advisors in the British MI6. Among the eliminated Ukrainian military personnel was also a British Navy operative who was supposedly responsible for planning the attacks on trains in Russia. The Russian military intelligence followed the movement of the Ukrainian servicemen in the car using a GPS signal remotely activated by Russian hackers on one of the phones of one of the victims. The strike was carried out with extreme precision by a derated LMUR missile released by the high-altitude drone Inokhodets. Well, okay, so you can see the wreckage here of the vehicles they drone bombed, and the claim here is, obviously we don't know how legit this is yet. This is just from Slavic Free Spirit, some dude with 30K followers. I'm not seeing anything else. Here we go. Then someone just asked Grok, is this true? I don't know. We'll see. Grok's saying it's not true. But we'll see. Either way, I think this is still a sign of the times. But obviously, so by this with a grain of salt. And we have here my buddy Clint saying, if this report is accurate, a British operative, likely MI6, was killed by Russia this morning, claiming he was responsible for the operation which destroyed Russia's nuclear bombers. If the British are operating with our knowledge to escalate against Russia, we need to exit NATO. Obviously, we need to exit NATO either way. But, I mean, Clint believes that. Clint believes that too. It's just the way he phrases these things sometimes. But it is. I do find it particularly interesting that, obviously assuming this is all true, hey, it's just an idea of like how these things could get carried away. At the very least, we don't know if this report's legit. At the very least, we do know that there was a drone attack that was carried out. I believe one of them was 2,000 miles deep into Russia. One was 3,000 miles into Russia. They were blew up, I believe, some of their nuclear bombers and a bunch of other planes, and they got quite a bit of things. So, this is quite the escalation, and it's kind of wild because it was pretty in the heart of Russia. I don't know. Just think of that in the terms of the United States, and if such a thing were to happen, and how they would how they'd react to this. This is nowhere near the war zones like where people are fighting. So. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not like, I don't know, just because you live near a war zone, I don't feel like it makes it fair that you're being exposed to a war zone, but it's also like, I don't know, to some extent it almost seems like this gentleman's agreement that like, hey, we try to keep this contained to this area or certain areas. We've kind of been like, all right, well, fuck this guy's area, but why would we go say fuck this other guy's area? Leave them out of it. So that's kind of what this is feels like here. Although those are... To be fair, I guess I don't know. I haven't looked into the specifics of like what the deal is with civilians and stuff. These did seem like military targets, so, but I could just still see how they'd be like, holy shit. And even if you do say, hey, this is completely legit, it's a kind of an escalation in the sense of like, oh shit, like these guys mean business, things could get real, like it just, yeah. And just the idea of how this could get carried away, because even if you do want to buy that, while I don't buy it, that our boy Donnie is actually really earnestly trying to stop this war, it's like, well, look at what could easily happen. Like, good luck trying to convince Russia that we had nothing to do with this. And either way, it's like it's still going to blow up any sort of peace talks. So. All right, let's go through chat, see what you guys have to say, and then keep it moving. The Hustle Bone says Piers had Dave on again yesterday, and Dave barely spoke because Piers made all of his arguments for him. Yeah, I checked that out. It was a good one. But Dave did barely speak at all. Piers was fucking pissed. Tommy E33 says that while the anti-dead kids is a radical belief in the media, it just goes to show how far they've pushed the Overton window. Exactly. Scrolling through. I wonder what changed Piers' mind, or if his bosses did it for him. Either way, both are W's. Yeah, I don't know. As I've said, I could be convinced either way. It seems earnest to me, but I don't know. And I'm someone who, I remember the days of when Ben Shapiro and Piers Morgan were arguing about gun control, and he just struck me as like the most over-the-top authoritarian fucking English homo. And so he's now here he is, and I want to not like him. Trust me, I want to not like Piers, but like here he is doing the right thing. So good job. Scrolling through. If Rupert Murdoch is going critical of Israel, that's a massive W. Who's Rupert? Who's Rupert? I know who Rupert Murdoch is, but is it Fox going on, or am I being retarded here? Did he own something else that I'm forgetting? Scrolling through the chat some more. All right. All right, scrolling through. Okay, looks like we're... I could see them telling the truth to regain legitimacy, but just not about Israel. Yeah, they'll never tell anything about Israel. That's for sure. All right, let's get into the next topic. What else we got? All right, this is old Cash App. which I do find it funny. Ken, our buddy Ken Silva, always calls him Cash Yap everywhere, because I think that is his real name. Cash Patel is Cash Yap. Is his full Indian name. But this is I thought this is pretty interesting. This is him talking to Fox.
It sounds like he wants more about at least the Butler guy that we don't know a lot about. Will we know a lot more about him? Is there more to know?
I don't know that there's more to know, but you're going to know everything we know.
It sounds like he wants more about it.
So he says, I don't know that there's more to know. Well, that's interesting, huh? Let's get into the next one. Oh, sorry, accidentally X'd out. Then here we have from Ken again. So he says, new FBI Director Kash Patel told Fox News last week this investigation to the July 13 Trump assassination attempt was closed. So we have them saying, oh, I don't know if there's more there. And then now he's saying that it's closed. When he said that, I immediately filed a Freedom of Information Act request for all FBI interview reports from its investigation. Today, I was denied that request on the grounds that the case is still open. So from Ken, it says either Kash Patel is lying or his own bureau is illegally withholding records of a closed matter. Which one is it? The FBI Director Kash or Williamson Ben, whoever that is. So, geez, you got some numbers in that one. So, and here is him saying that initially. Let's go ahead and watch this.
How come we don't have more information on the assassination attempts on President Trump?
There's two reasons. Two open, ongoing prosecutions. So 2 of the investigations are obviously closed because the individuals are dead. But there's 2 live prosecutions. And so we can't get ahead of the federal court case.
How come we don't have more information?
All right. All right. But yep. So the key thing here is he supposedly said it's closed. So so there's obviously a few things to take away from that. The idea that it's closed, it's like, for real, we're closing this investigation. This is the most transparent administration we've ever seen, and they're closing the July 13th Trump assassination investigation, which is pretty fucking wild. July 13th, that's the was it the Butler one, right? Yeah, so that was the fucking I believe, that's the Butler one. Yeah, that was the big old crooks. So yeah, we still know of seemingly basically nothing about this guy, but no, that we're good. We're closing it. There's no there. I don't know what else there is. And so I don't see us getting anything more from them from that anytime soon. But maybe, just maybe, if we bitch and moan. But even if they decide to grow some balls, I thought this is a particularly interesting example of how they kind of hamstring them to kind of, even if they want to, they kind of can't. And let's be real, they usually don't want to. But this is from Richard. This goes into the Oklahoma City bombing. And I thought this particularly interesting. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, Jesse Trentu's ongoing decades-long FOIA battle over the Murrah Federal Building surveillance tapes revealed that the FBI's Oklahoma City bombing file 174A OC or -OC-56 or 56120 is tightly controlled, so tightly controlled, in fact, that no one in the FBI has any access to it, and this was found out when in 2005, FBI agents in Colorado tried to upload some 302 reports from recent interviews with Terry Nichols and found they could not do so. Jesse's FOIA trial in 2014 revealed that only one Bureau employee, a woman named Linda Vernon in Oklahoma City, is allowed to access that file. She's long retired. All she does is act as the arbiter of the OK bomb file. So literally, quite literally, there is a woman who's no longer even employed by the government, by the FBI, who is the only person who can access the Oklahoma City bombing file. The FBI so it's just insane. The Colorado agents actually had to send to Linda Vernon the material they wanted uploaded so she could do it. When the FBI received an Oklahoma City bombing-related FOIA request from Jesse Trentu, instead of using their trained records integration and dissemination division to handle that FOIA, they had Linda Vernon do it because nobody else was allowed to look at it. And in handling that FOIA, Linda failed to search the electronic case file for anything that Trentu requested and improperly withheld many documents, likely thousands, responsive to Trentu's request, sending him garbage instead. When asked under oath why she did not perform a search of the FBI's Central Record System, then called ACS, she said, in quotes, "because I'm lazy," unquote. Willing to bet $1,000 to anyone that Kashyap Patel would not be allowed to access 174A-OC-56120. He would not be allowed to view any of the restricted material placed on manual indexes, would not be allowed to view the 1As, wouldn't be allowed to view items Q7 and Q77, both tapes, journal records, and Southwestern Bell, nor would he be allowed access to the compilation tape FBI made of all surveillance footage in chronological order. In fact, Richard goes out and say, I bet that I have more access to documents and materials within 174A-OC-56120 files than Kashyap does. As proof, here are satellite photos of the Murrah Federal Building taken by a KH-11 Kennen spy satellite. Kashyap could/would never. I have these only because people in the defense team and others contacted me to analyze this material for things that have been withheld from us. Let's just say everything has been withheld from us. And then it's just funny that he ends it with a meme here. It's I want to look at the videos in the Oklahoma City bombing file. What do you mean I have to talk to Linda? I'm the director. It says, sorry, Kashyap, you can't. What do you mean I can't? What I said. And then, any questions? Cash. Yes. So it's just wild. This is literally how these things are structured. So there is literally a woman, some old bitch somewhere, who has the entire file for the Oklahoma City bombing. And yeah, so so you could go through all the FOIA processes, you could do everything, and then you know what? Linda could go, nope, not fucking doing it. And I guess theoretically, sure, I guess there must be some sort of legal action, but then I guess that sounds like you'd be asking the FBI to literally sue a private person. But even then, I don't know. That seems so like maybe there's even some sort of legal protection for her here. So it's just, what do you do? What do you do when Linda goes, fuck off? I guess maybe you just fuck off, huh? It's bizarre, right? All right, let's go through the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. Seeing all you fuck Israel, free Palestine, says Gerald Hall. Yeah. Imagine listening to a woman, someone said. But yeah, wild story. Let's go on to the next one. This is what the thumbnail is from. This is from one of my patrons. Thank you for sharing this with me. It says 2 Chinese nationals arrested for attempting to smuggle in a deadly fungus linked to agro-terrorism. So here we go. Here, press release: Chinese nationals charged with conspiracy and smuggling a dangerous biological pathogen into the U.S. for their work at a University of Michigan laboratory. Okay, so for their work, so it's coming together a little bit more. Here we go. We have the FBI arrested Jian in connection with allegations related to Jian and Lu's smuggling into America a fungus called Fusarium graminearum, which scientific literature classifies as a potential agro-terrorism weapon. This noxious fungus causes head blight, a disease of wheat, barley, maize, and rice, and is responsible for billions of dollars in economic losses worldwide each year. Fusarium graminearum's toxins cause vomiting, liver damage, and reproductive defects in human and livestock. Okay. All right, that's kind of wild. So that would be kind of an ideal fungus to fuck up crops, I guess. And here's a photo of the fungus for those, I guess, who care. Or no, what am I? I'm retarded. I know this photo released shows what authorities say are biological pathogens discovered in luggage. Okay, so they're showing pictures. Okay. For those that aren't aware, I think, and I only kind of remember this stuff vaguely. Remember, like, CBRN training is what they call it for the military, where they teach you about, like, if you're around nerve agents and shit like this. So I'm assuming this is one of those little papers that you use for contaminants and, like, any sort of discolorations or speckles. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they're showing us here, one of those papers. But, I mean, I don't see much, so it looks like I'm looking at a whole bunch of fucking nothing here. So I don't know. We'll take their word for it to some extent. So the DOJ just charged 2 Chinese nationals. Here's the tweet from Congressman Ben Klein. And then here's one from Patel as well. So he's saying known. He chimes in saying they're smuggling a known agri-terrorism agent to the U.S. is not just a violation of law; it's a direct threat to national security. So okay, so I mean, obviously, looks like this is pretty fucking. Well, shit. Someone's saying here this arrest was a year and a half ago. No, I guess it happened before. So this happened recently, but no, this is wild. So people trying to come in with fucking sneaking in fungus. That's a weird one. All right. That is concerning, I guess. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that I don't really know there's much more to talk about with that one, but yeah, it looks like the Chinese are trying to sneak in fungus and fuck up our crops and make our balls not work is what it looks like. So stay away from any fields, I guess, with wheat, I guess, and guard your balls, boys, because the Chinese are coming for them is what it's looking like. So we'll keep an eye on this one. As always, tag me if you guys see more developments. Let's scroll through the chat. Fusarium causes damage to root zones in cannabis. Well, that's a fun fact. Or not so much damage, but limits nutrients uptake. Okay. I mean, I do wonder, like, yeah, this guy got busted with this, but is it like, okay, so what? He got busted with some fungus, but like, what does that mean? Like, it didn't even say in the article, I don't think, like, what it was found in. It was just, are we just talking samples? It was said it was for their work. They worked in university, so I don't know. Is it really that crazy? I mean, yeah, just because they have this fungus, it's like, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to then mass distribute it. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know enough about this fungus, but I really feel like if I just have like a little culture jar, I'm not just going to be able to like walk up to a wheat field and just kind of open it and walk away and be like, "Wah, now I rule the world." Like, I don't, so I think this might be one of those blown out of proportion story if I had to guess, but I don't know. We'll see. Hustle says, "Don't worry, Monsanto will just tweak the GMO tech." But this feels like it's probably a nothing story. Like I don't know. It seems like maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll find out more. Let's maybe we'll breeze through this real quick. Maybe we can see some more about his what this person does. So it's a University of Michigan research fellow. So a research fellow. It'd be nice if they told us what they were researching. Scrolling through, see there's more in there. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, you would think they would add. They work at a Chinese. They work at a Chinese university. I thought they, for some reason, I thought they were saying they went the University of Michigan. No, they did say something for their work. Okay, so I guess I'm assuming they work out of the lab there. Okay, this is confusing. So they work in the University of Michigan research lab, but one of them is a Chinese university. It works at a Chinese university. A little bit confusing to me. Okay, so the federal prosecutors say he first lied, but then admitted to smuggling it into the United States. So his alleged goal was to conduct research on the pathogen at the lab by the University of Michigan, where his girlfriend Jian worked. Okay, so no, his girlfriend worked there. He worked at the Chinese university. He supposedly was smuggling it into research. Okay, I don't know. Frankly, it seems more believable than he's going to. But I don't know. And the only reason I say that is not because I'm like China would never do this or that I'm simping for China. It just seems like to me. I mean, what a few samples of some fungus spores. Really, what could you even fucking do with that? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound like this is some deathly fucking awful, fungus. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a sweeping fungus that overtakes crops like crazy. So the alleged actions of these Chinese nationals, including a loyal member of the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, so I guess one of them is considered a member of so I guess that makes a little bit more. But honestly, this kind of feels like a boomer slop to me, but maybe I'm wrong. So these are of the gravest national security concerns. These two aliens have been charged with smuggling a fungus that has been described as a potential agro-terrorism weapon. I don't know. Any of you guys in the chat, let me know if you guys have I know one of you was talking about how it affects weed. Do you know? I mean, maybe you can extrapolate from there. Does it affect weed like a lot? Because I mean, if this is something you've encountered in growing weed, I would assume it can't be the worst fucking thing ever if it's something you've encountered. Like, I mean, does it destroy the crop entirely? What are we talking about here? And they're saying it affects humans, but just because there's a fungus doesn't mean that it's going to, like, I mean, even then, sometimes you only get certain infections. You get like a certain spore level or something. So I don't know. It just seems like this feels like kind of a convenient story around the time that we're trying to dial up tensions with China. I mean, that's been kind of the latest stuff from our foreign policy front, is they've been kind of making a lot of threats about China recently. So, and then now we have this weird Chinese story that seems like perhaps we're all interpreting this in the worst possible way. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's roll with the chat. Maybe one of you guys have something to provide to enlighten me about this fungus. So, so I'm scrolling through. With the way we grow our crops in this country, most farms are very at risk for this kind of thing. You could get into crop sprayers. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it's just that, like, I doubt that they would have a ton of it on them. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the idea is that you get it there and then maybe you can then grow other cultures, to be fair. So I don't know. I don't know to what degree you could really, where you could go with this. So the salt fertilizers and pesticides I've been using for decades have destroyed the natural soil microbial life. So most of it's dead and ripe for colonization by things like what that guy was bringing. Okay. All right. So maybe there is something to this. As you can multiply spores in a tank and spray it. Okie dokie. Yeah. Everyone keeps bringing up 12 Monkeys because I guess it's been a while since I've watched that movie. So I guess it, I don't know. Juan says, as a gardener, it only takes an infected plant to contaminate a whole garden. Then it can get in the soil and you're dealing with it year after year. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Because I'm not a gardener. I don't know. So I'm completely talking my ass. And that's why I'm glad I have you guys. So I happen to have likely you guys are just some advanced level stoners. So you just have some horticulture knowledge. But I appreciate you guys being around. That's what I have you guys for. All right, let's get into the most recent in the Boulder stuff. The wife and children of the Boulder attack suspect are in ICE custody. I found this article from ABC 7 Eyewitness News. It says the wife and children of Boulder, Colorado terrorism suspect Mohammed Solomon are in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and the family is being processed for expedited removal, according to Department of Homeland Security official. Secretary of State Marco Rubio wrote on social media Monday, in light of yesterday's horrific attacks, all terrorists, their family members, and terrorist sympathizers here in a visa should know that under the Trump administration, we will find you, revoke your visa, and deport you. Solomon, who's arrested after allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails in an act of terrorism during a pro-Israel demonstration on Sunday, has been in the U.S. on an expired tourist visa. Officials said the father of 5 was granted a work permit, but that had also expired in March. Solomon was born in Egypt and lived in Kuwait for 17 years before moving to Colorado Springs 3 years ago, court documents said. Solomon allegedly said he had been planning the attack for 1 year, but waited until his daughter graduated from high school last Thursday to carry it out, state and federal documents said. Omar Shakar, a co-leader of Run for Their Lives in Boulder, told ABC News he was standing in front of the group outside the Boulder courthouse Sunday afternoon when a man threw a Molotov cocktail under their legs. He felt panic right away as his friends caught fire in front of his eyes. They're literally on fire, he said. I don't know if I can express it enough. Literally on fire and trying to pull my friend out of the fire. Once someone could help her, I was reaching out to the attacker and try, I don't know what I thought, but maybe to tackle him. But we saw that he's approaching to a container full of bottles and realized it's not a good idea, so we stepped back. We're trying to keep people away as much as possible. Although some of them couldn't walk, one of them was on the ground where the fire is. Shakar said passerby stepped in with water bottles to try to help put out the blaze. 12 people are injured, officials said. 2 victims remain in the hospital. Authorities are reviewing a newly released video showing the chaos and panic in the attack's aftermath. Solomon, who allegedly disguised himself as a gardener during the attack, told police he wanted to kill all Zionist people and wished they were all dead, court documents said. Solomon stated he would do it again. He said this had nothing to do with the Jewish community and was specific in the Zionist group supporting the killings of people in this land, Palestine, documents said. So not Jews, just Zionists. Okay. Shakar said Run for Their Lives holds a peaceful walk every Sunday to raise awareness about the hostages who remain held in Gaza by Hamas since October 7th, 2023. Participants include those who are Jewish and non-Jewish, right and left, Israelis and non-Israelis, Americans and non-Americans, he said. People are coming for the same cause, to bring those hostages back home. Shakar said he hopes the group can return to their walk soon. Let me see, is there anything? Solomon had taken a concealed carry class to learn how to fire a gun, but had to use Molotov cocktails for the attack after he was denied the purchase of a gun due to him not being a legal citizen. State court documents said 16 unused Molotov cocktails were within arm's reach of the suspect when he was arrested. FBI Denver special agents in charge, Mark Mikulek, said on Monday. The unlit Molotov cocktails were comprised of glass wine, carafe bottles, or ball jars containing clear liquid and red rags hanging out the bottles, court documents said. Police also found a backpack weed sprayer potentially containing a flammable substance. The clear liquid in the glass bottles and weed sprayer were determined to be 87-octane gasoline, which was determined to contain xylene. He's been charged with a federal hate crime and state charges, including 16 counts of attempted first-degree murder, according to court documents. He appeared in court virtually on Monday and has yet to enter a plea. And 1 second. Let me exit out some of these tabs real quick. And then we have from our old little piggy, Randy Fine. Here's his take on this story. Oh, of course, it's not doing the audio again. Give me a second. It doesn't even... All right. Give me one moment. Stupid fucking StreamYard. I hate that he does this. Give me one moment. Here we go. Sorry. Here you go. Here's the audio. You should have audio now.
We are now hearing that the family of the suspect, the Boulder suspect, Mohammed Salman, his wife and 5 children, they are in ICE detention. This administration is not playing around.
No. And I hope they deport them to Gaza, and they should deport them tomorrow. I mean, but this should just be the first. Round them up. If you're here illegally, you need to go home. Every illegal immigrant broke our laws to come here. Everything they've done afterwards comes from that fruit of the poisonous tree. And if we are going to regain safety and security in this country, it starts with deporting them all. Now, look.
We are now hearing that the family of the suspect...
All right, so we have Randy Fine saying send them to Gaza. Now, I will say, I don't know, I'm a little torn on this one. I mean, I guess I don't remember if it said in there if their visas were expired, because I think they all had visas too. I don't know the specifics on that, but let's just assume they are expired. I mean, like, I guess, yeah, I get it. Kick them out, but I'll be honest, I do feel a little bit bad. It does feel like, it does seem like a little bit of a shitty knee-jerk reaction to go like, well, fuck his family. And you're like, well, I mean, like, I don't know to what extent his wife or kids had anything to do with that. I mean, they could be like, dude, fuck dad. What the hell was that all about? Which I'm sure they probably are. You know, like the one daughter just graduated high school and now she's facing being deported when she's probably lived here her entire life. Yeah, I'm sure they're not big fans of what the hell they did. So it does seem like kind of a shitty knee-jerk reaction. But I mean, I get it. At the same time, I guess it's just, I don't know, just worth at least mentioning this is happening. But it just feels gross, but I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously there are more to come, but apparently they were immigrants. I mean, let's assume they are legal. I guess, sure. I understand the concern too, even more so if they're the children and wife of someone who literally carried out a essentially terrorist attack. But I don't know. It just seems like a shitty knee-jerk reaction to immediately jump to, well, like, fuck his entire family. Obviously, we should, he should go to jail. He should deal with the consequences of behaving such a way. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like super like against it or whatever. It's just it's at least worth mentioning that this happened. So they're not fucking around. They got his whole family. I think Trump may even have had a few words to say about it. Or if he hasn't, I would assume he probably will soon. Because it's like, how do you not make a statement about that? I don't know. Going back to the chat, Tom says this has the potential to be a huge deal. And yes, I know this from growing weed. So, hey. Just jumping in, but anecdotally, I had weird blight affect my pears. Had to prune heavily, but have since regenerated healthier. The fungus thing is being over-amplified, though, by both mainstream media and controlled alt media. Fear porning like a motherfucker to gas up or something. I mean, that's what I thought at first, too, Wise Elk. But then, all these good people in the chat are saying, no, it's pretty fucking bad. So I don't know. But yeah, Tom says it's not an end of the world thing. It's just the potential to cause a lot of issues. Okay. So you can bet they catch fuckers doing this shit all the time. That this one makes the news is suspicious. Yeah, perhaps. Scroll through. Nevsky says I have empathy, but they shouldn't have ever been here. Yeah, no, I get it. It just seems like a weird, and I get it. Like there is a like, if they are legal, and like there is the whole. I get it. I mean, I'm not someone who's like a super border hawk guy. I think I ranted on here just the other day about how kind of like, I don't know, like I kind of am sympathetic to the open borders types, just in the sense that like, I mean, I understand the argument for having closed borders and how like it's like, I know there is, this is, you got your money stolen from for this, all these like public property is just essentially property that you got robbed for. And so like, I do get that, like, I do think you have some level of like, it makes sense that you'd be like, well, I don't want, in this public property to homeless people or illegal immigrants or whatever. So I understand the argument like from that side, but at the same time, it also is like the flip side is anytime it seems like we see any sort of border or anything, it's always just shitty stuff. It's always like, especially as of late, it's like, oh, well, that's because they didn't like Israel. Like, okay, well, like, it's just the point being is like anytime this is applied, it almost just seems to be in the dumbest way or to literally somehow make things worse. So it's like, I don't know, it's hard to sympathize with that argument when it's literally just being used as a tool to fuck us over and over and over again. And I guess this is to be a situation where it just seems like the knee-jerk reaction to be like, well, fucking fuck them. Let's throw their whole family out of here. Like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I'm of two minds. I get it. It just... it's also something to be aware of. Because, I mean, at the very least, I think I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes some part of... I'm kind of preparing you guys to be... for this maybe to be taking some sort of media, turn or something. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a big story of some sort. But it seems like the implication here is they were, on expired visas. Seems the implication. And if that's the case, I don't really know what kind of... I don't know what sob stories you're really going to be able to gin up here, considering the backdrop of considering he committed literal terrorism. So, I don't know. Scrolling through. It's made the news because of Trump being in office. That's the only difference, is what Nevsky said. Yeah. All right. Let's. What else we got here? Let's keep going. Actually, let's keep going on this route. There's been one of you guys tagged me in some digging that Parapower Mapping and Cav Def George did, which I have him blocked. I don't really remember why. But he does do good work. So I've seen him. I've heard of him in a few podcasts and stuff, and I've had him blocked for a long time. So I don't even remember why I have him blocked. So I don't know. I'd be open to the idea of unblocking him, but I'm sure he was a cunt at some point, and that's probably why I blocked him. But he does do great work, and I've seen him on the podcast, and I know he does great research, is my understanding. So just throwing it out there. So don't let the block cloud that at all. He probably did something I found insufferable and didn't want to interact with him on social media. But he does do great research. So just throwing that out there. Here's Kalani Pingosh is their or Power Mapping. Funny enough, similar sort of thing. I don't have this guy blocked, but I do have a feeling. I wouldn't be surprised if one day if we run into odds, because he is a little bit more of the lefty variety. But another guy, great research. So as long as he doesn't ever fuck with me, I don't ever plan on fucking with him. But the problem with these lefty parapolitics types is, boy, they do like to fuck with you sometimes. And I don't play those games. I just go block and I move on because I don't really care what these homos have to say, except for when it's great research. But let's keep going. Something I find a little curious about this alleged Molotov cocktail attack at a pro-Israel march in Boulder is Joseph Neumeier, the guy accused of planning to burn down the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv, which, funny enough, that thing basically got memory hold already. And that was, I guess, supposed to be the Molotovs as well, which I didn't know that. That's an interesting little detail. And he's also from Colorado and seemingly works with a scientist from Boulder. Here is the infamous photo. I will say, I'm kind of disappointed we haven't got a lot of funny jokes and memes out of this yet, because This is 100% just like the visual dynamic here is Randy from South Park. Randy's dad or whatever. Is the dad Randy? I forget. No, Stan's dad Randy, because Randy is the dad. Yeah. So, he's very much putting off Randy vibes. Like, I don't know. How's there not any jokes here? But I guess, so, he's also showing a photo of somebody Neumeier worked with. Another tweet of his says Neumeier's claimed that he studied at DU. The reports that he's a Colorado native, and Mochizuki's residence in Boulder means it's possible the Japanese inventor actually knew and was working with Neumeier on his supposed and highly technical photonics, carbon financing, etc. enterprise. Okay, so maybe working that seems. I'll be honest, that seems weak, but I don't think he was saying it was anything other than weak. To be fair, maybe there's more here. Let's read what else we got. Let me see. Based on my review of a publicly available on profile, I believe that Neumeier operates a Facebook account with the name Joseph Neumeier and a profile photograph of Neumeier. I don't know what this is from, by the way. Maybe this looks like maybe some sort of article somebody typed up or something. Based on my review of the account, I'm aware that Neumeier has posted threatening statements that, among other things, called for the assassination of the President of the United States. For example, on or about March 22nd, 2025, Neumeier posted the following on Facebook: "We are killing Trump and Musk now. I will hunt you down and kill you both. The White House. Death to Trump. Greg Abbott." In addition, on or about March 24th, 2025, Neumeier posted... Okay, then it goes out. Then it goes... All right, well, we don't need to keep going on. This is just driving home the point that Neumeier did weird shit. I'm still waiting to hear more about this. I have a feeling this guy will get memory hold, because this one, the significance of the Neumeier thing to me that I caught is that, like, I don't remember hearing a lot of people saying, like, oh, we saw him at this time, and it seemed to be within this pretty small window that a lot of this stuff happened, and it's a lot of weird statements online about, like, crazy weird things like death to Trump, death to America, or the former president has several hours to resign or certain death, just crazy shit like that. And it's like... And this is within a few months. And this is right after he goes to go live in Israel. It's just like, what the fuck is happening here? Is this guy even alive? Is this just somebody on his Facebook account? What is going on? And supposedly this guy was supposed to Molotov someplace too. Then Cav Def says, Boulder has got to be one of the most cursed places where you can barely step outside your home without encountering a spook, cult member, such leader, pedophile, or some combination thereof. And then Parapower Mapping says, 100%. That's the implicit subcontext for me. But I stopped short of outright saying that, because even just quote-unquote noticing patterns is in an oblique way is liable to have people jumping down one's throat in the mentions, as happened a little bit here anyways. I don't know if you tracked this at all last spring, but the woman who shot up Joel Osteen's congregation in Houston with a Free Palestine sticker on her rifle, and who, in my estimation, was clearly associating and possibly MK'd, or dissociating and MK'd, her mother-in-law is a wandering rabbi of sorts, based in the Boulder area, and the shooter recorded video that basically stated she was targeting Lakewood Church to get back at her mother-in-law, who was a former congregant and a mental health professional to boot. There's a ton more there, but the... mother-in-law got very involved in the aftermath because she claimed custody of the shooter's child. Part of why the relationship was broken was due to her previous attempts to have it court-ordered, basically. Anyways, I find it all a little notable because that was another one of these purported quote-unquote anti-Israel attacks from the past year. There's another clear connection to Boulder, Colorado. The mother-in-law even runs a counseling clinic and some kind of non-denominational questionable synagogue out of there too, if I recall correctly. So, okay, that's interesting. We're starting to see some commonalities between some of these Free Palestine attacks. All right, the Wandering Rabbi. All right, so we have both this Randy's dad character and Neumeier both planned on essentially both were using Molotovs as the plan, or actually implemented in this guy's case. So interesting. And then also the locations of Boulder. I don't know, something interesting there for sure. Let's roll into the chat and see what you guys have to say. All right. They want us to be mad at Trump's immigration policy by triggering our emotions of the innocent family being deported. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, that is kind of like I would be, I guess, kind of what I was driving at my lower hand before. Is like I would be, I don't know if I'd necessarily say a supporter, but I wouldn't be complaining like at all because I'm someone as I understand the arguments for both sides. I think the best argument for like an open borders perspective is just that like, hey, like what really happens and how they use it. But if you take away the argument from that, you take away the argument when you only deport things like criminals or whatever, which I guess everyone goes, well, every illegal immigrant's a criminal. And you're like, yeah, but like, I don't know, wait until they fucking do something. Like the idea that like ICE should be going out of their way searching for these people or anything like that. It should just really just be like, oh, and even then, I even think like if they get pulled over, they get like a traffic ticket or something. It should be like, oh, you got busted with meth or something, which, I mean, I guess I'm not against drugs being illegal, but you get the point. You stab somebody, you do some sort of significant illegal action, and they go, where the fuck, you're not even from fucking around here. Like, you need to get the fuck out of here. And that should be, like that, I would have no problem with that. You'd never hear a complaint out of me. Like, I mean, I guess unless they like fuck up, but don't fuck up, and there'd be no one to complain. So, I mean, as you said, when they want us to be mad, it's like, well, then okay, then don't make us mad. I mean, I don't really know. I know it sounds simple, but it's really that simple. Then just don't do the shitty things, because I'm primed and ready to go. Okay, cool, that's fine by me. Like I don't know if I'm not, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to support any sort of actions of ICE or immigration or anything like that, but you will hear no complaints from me when it's just like, oh, this person's an illegal immigrant and they did something illegal and, they're clearly a shithead. But if they're like, doing warrantless searches and doing this and that, or they're revoking visas for fucking op-eds about Israel, it's like, yeah, you lose me. You lose me real quick and you get me to go, well, then why would I want to give you any sort of mandate whatsoever to conduct any sort of immigration anythingness? Because I see what you do with it. So, scrolling through, that's all you gotta say. So yeah, I'm primed for that. So, let's see, what else do we got? I have this. This is, I guess there was some recent blow up in the Knesset, or they say Ben Gvir got embarrassed. I haven't watched this yet, so I'll just watch this with you guys. I don't know the full significance of this. It says, Ben Gvir humiliated in Knesset. He refused to address Arab MP Ahmad Tibi as Mr. President during a session. Tibi presiding ordered his expulsion. Chaos followed. And of course, it's doing the audio thing, so give me a second. I gotta take it off and bring it back up because it's doing, I just noticed right when I was about to start, it's doing the stupid audio thing. So let's go ahead and play this. Well, that's fucking useless. It's the subtitles are in French, of course, because that's super helpful. All right, well, you can just see, I was hoping maybe it would say, but you can just see him. I don't think we'd get anything intelligible out of this anyways, but you see them literally dragging Ben Gvir out of the Knesset, which is kind of wild to me that he was, just because he wasn't willing to refer to someone as Mr. President. Seems a little wild. Okay, now they backed up, so it looks like they're maybe going to show where it started. I mean, you can kind of see they're clearly heated. Which Ben Gvir, if I remember correctly, let me see, what was Ben Gvir? The defense minister, I believe. Ben Gvir, he's also the one that like everyone really fucking kind of loves, I think, is the understanding. I think he has some sort of role in the Shin Bet as well, so he plays. There's an interesting component when it comes to him when it comes into the Shin Bet type stuff, which is, I believe, goes into like the bribing of Qatar, and like essentially they were using the Shin Bet, which I believe one of their intelligence agencies or something like that. Wait, no, I'm thinking of that wrong. I think the Shin Bet was actually supposed to look into Ben Gvir's. So he's the national security minister, is what Ben Gvir is. So the Shin Bet probe was looking into him because it was through the National Security Office through which they were doing all this, Qatar stuff. Let's see who Ahmad Tibi is, so we can at least see maybe what the significance of this guy is. I'm gonna check and see who this guy is real quick, because I think that might tie hone us in more on what member of the Israeli Knesset. He's a Palestinian Israeli politician, a leader of the Tal Party. He's a member of the Knesset since 1999. He's a figure. Okay, so he's one of the people, the Palestinians in there. Man, it already kicked off the. Oh, never mind. I'm retarded. It looked like it was showing that they're not playing the audio again. So he is he's an Arab MP. I don't know what an MP is. It's weird that they call him Mr. President, but I'm assuming that's probably what is proper for them. So either way, I guess he's just. It seems like some sort of what are the rules? I forget what they have. What's the term they always say in politics when people get out of line? It's not candor. It's I don't know. Whatever. There's certain terms of like there's a term for like there's certain ethics, and ethics isn't the word I'm looking for, but there's certain decorum. Decorum's the word I'm looking for. There's a certain decorum they're supposed to maintain. Usually you see these in a lot of different countries when it comes to the Congress or the Knesset or whatever. So I would presume that this was just not providing one of the members some what's considered the proper respect, which is funny because we did just cover a story the other day where they made some straight up genocidal remarks, like over the top, and they tried to censor them for that and being essentially some sort of decorum rules, and they're like, nope, that's allowed. But he didn't refer to one of the Palestinian guys as Mr. President. But either way, it's interesting. As I mentioned, he's the national security guy. He is also kind of like the shining, like if Netanyahu gets taken out, if we are to see a similar contingent take over in his place, it is likely to be coalescing behind Ben-Gvir. Ben-Gvir, if I had to guess, once we probably see Netanyahu in The Hague, there will probably be a big political battle for the heart of Israel. And I think Ben-Gvir will probably be on one side, and I don't have a strong enough political understanding of the other side. But likely, probably maybe more moderate, party or something. If I had to assume, maybe something like a Ehud or something. Olmer, I know he's been on Piers lately, kind of saying. I don't know his politics, but even then, I guess there's multiple prime ministers that come out now, and I think while I don't have a strong understanding of their parties and their political alignments, from my understanding of those two, is they come from very different political situations too. So. It's not just like the homo lefties or whatever. No, like everyone is. It seems to be the world is kind of coming together and go, this is fucked up. But I don't know. It just I think it was interesting just kind of get a little peek into what the fuck's going on over this country. And yeah, so we get to see Ben-Gvir getting dragged out. His little portly ass. Well, all right. I think maybe we'll go ahead and get out of here. We're about an hour and a half. I have another tab I could probably go on, but I'll probably save that for tomorrow. Not use up all my content yet. Let's roll through the chat, and then we'll get on out of here. Wise Elk says the 65 Immigration Act and CIA drug running fucked everything up. It's in the early 20th. The border system worked very well. Scrolling through the chats. All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow or tonight. I mean, actually, on Tower Gang for the Tower Gang homies that want to show up for that. For those who want to support the show, and if you don't want to chip in a buck, you can like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. All those sort of actions go a long way. You can follow me on Twitter at it as well, at TowerGangJose. Very helpful for this show, the morning show. You can tag me and stuff. Probably about half the content I cover is stuff you guys tag me in. And it's super helpful to have you guys keeping an eyes out on what's going on because I'm but one man and I am a very busy man. So keep me abreast of what's going on. I appreciate that. But if you do want to directly support the show with money, you can do that at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That's where you get access to early episodes. I've been doing 1 to 2 of those paywalled episodes a week these days, shooting for 4 at a time behind the paywall, which I am at right now. So there's weeks of paywalled content behind back there. Also, you get an ad-free RSS feed, and you get a priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly call-in show, Already Dead, which the call-ins have been popping lately. We've been having a great time, so that perk is getting more and more valuable as time goes on. It'll allow you to be able to get into the hustle and bustle before the patrons take it all over, or before the other poors, the non-payers, get in there. So it'll allow you to jump to the front of the line and maybe be able to talk to some of your favorite content creators who may either be guests or have joined us for the call-in portion that day as well. So those are all sorts of great options you can get from there. And like I said, that's on the Already Dead show. That's a call-ins. You get priority there. You also can hang out in the pre-show. But yeah, that's at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. That's the low level, $2. But the high level, those are my sponsors. I read them off every episode. It's a big thank you to them. Big love, you guys. And I have my co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Tobe. Also have at Abrogate D's, at ZOVRICK, at _Fazil, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, at Torme, and then Jordan Pearson. And with that, guys, I will be back tomorrow. So definitely make sure you be tagging me and shit. So I'm a little low on topics right now. So tag me in what's going on there, what you guys find interesting, and I will bring that to other people out there. So love you all. Deuces, go to toplobster.com. Get some of that dope Already Dead merch. It's at the top. It's at the Already Dead tab is where it's at over at toplobster.com. That's where you can find it at. But yeah, and hopefully I see you guys in a couple weeks at Bro Grove. And with that, we are out of here. Deuces.